friends. Today I want to talk to you about humility. And going through our current reading plan, we were in the book of Philippians for the first few days. And I want to bring us back there to Philippians chapter 2, verses 3 through 8. So we'll start reading in verse 3, and it says, "Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. Each of you should look not only to your own interests, but also to the interests of others." Wow, even if we just stopped right there, that's really hard. There's some really big challenging things there, and even some probably maybe natural responses to you right now be like, whoa, what? You're asking me to do what now? Like, set aside my own wants and desires? Like, we're not surprised, but that's what those verses are saying. So let's continue on, starting in verse 5. "Your attitude should be the same as that of Christ, who, being in very nature God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but he made himself nothing, taking the very nature of a servant, being made in human likeness. And being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross." Now, we're not being called to die on a cross, but we are called to be obedient to the Lord. And in the same way that Christ modeled humility to us, that is what we are being called to do on a daily and if not moment by moment basis. But what I want to push on today is, what does humility look like? What actually is it? And I think the best place is to say, what is it not? It is not dumbing ourselves down. It is not tearing ourselves down. It is not allowing people to walk all over us and just taking a back seat. Even though that's what we kind of maybe will think it is coming out of verses 3 and 4, it's not. It's not just like setting aside our own perspective. But instead, if we look at Christ's example, we see that he came knowing who he was. He was certain of who he was. But at the same time, he was certain of what the Father was asking him to do, why he was here on earth. He knew it. He knew he came to love and to serve and to give, not to take. He came to be with us, to be here on earth, and not come in like crashing into the scene, demanding his rule and reign be now. He didn't come in demanding that the disciples wash his feet. No, he humbled himself and did that for them. He came in riding on a donkey, not a horse. He came in taking time and making a point to be with the people that nobody else wanted to be with. And he did that all because he wasn't afraid to be seen as different. He wasn't afraid to be seen as maybe not what the world wanted him to be, because he knew that he was God's. He knew the Father was loving him and leading him. He was sure of what he was doing. And so, friends, for us, what does that mean for us? I think for us, there is a certain death that comes with it, but it is dying to ourselves, dying to wanting to have our opinion heard, when really maybe we are called to listen and love somebody else by listening to them. We want to burst in and have our spot of authority, or even have our position verified, but maybe sometimes it's allowing somebody else with something that needs to be seen or known go first, or be seen more. But again, not dumbing ourselves down, not putting down what God has created, which is us. We are made in the image of God. So I'm inviting you, and I think this is just the tip of the iceberg with humility, but I'm inviting you to look at your life, take what we see in this passage, and maybe even dig into some other passages where it talks about humility, and find out what that means. Because I think for most of it, we probably would be challenged on the stereotype of humility that we have compared to what Christ actually modeled for us. So that's what I have for us today, friends. Hopefully you found maybe your interest is piqued on what humility is. And so I pray blessings over you today, blessings to your families, and we long to be in the same place together. But until that time, and until next time on this devotional, we will just be praying for one another. God bless.